Hello, everyone. Welcome to the DMV Business Show. I'm your host, Otto Sevilla, and today I have a special guest, Dr. Carlos Martinez. He is the president, founder, CEO, and owner of CAM Physical Therapy and Wellness Services. Has several locations, actually 4 locations, right, Carlos?
Yes. We have 4 outpatient locations and 1 nursing home.
Yes, in the DMV area. So welcome to the show, Carlos. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you having me today.
Of course, a pleasure. So before the now, I like to go to the then, how it all started back then. So if you can please share with the audience, where you're from, where you grew up.
Okay, that sounds good. My family is from New York. We're from the Bronx, New York City. My dad's a retired police officer. My mom's a retired teacher. And, at the end of the day, my dad wanted to get us out of the Bronx, so we moved upstate to Peekskill, New York. Stayed there for a while. I ended up going to Peekskill High School, Peekskill Middle School, and Peekskill High School. While I was in high school, I took architecture all throughout high school. I thought I was going to be an architect.
In high school?
Yeah, when I was in high school. Yeah, so
in high school you can take architect class, and
okay. Architecture. Yeah, I don't know how it is now, but back then.
I guess depending on school, some schools typically, besides your basic math and history and social studies and all that,
right.
Unless you were going to a specific trade school.
Right. Now I was going to a regular public high school.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So architecture was one of the classes that we took, and I took it all throughout high school. So I that was going to be my thing, where I was going to be an architect.
Carl, 1 second. Before high school, I'm curious. So you did elementary school throughout the Bronx, right?
Yeah, I did up to like 3rd or 4th or 5th grade.
Oh, so you didn't finish
about fifth grade.
Okay, so you didn't finish elementary school. That's when you moved up to upstate New York, or
upstate New York to Peekskill. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I went to a private school for a little while, and then I ended up going to Peekskill Middle School.
A private school in the Bronx or in Peekskill?
No, when I was in the Bronx, I went to a school called PS 107. Then I went to Holy Cross School, which is a private school.
I've been in the Bronx. Very different, I'm sure, than upstate New York.
Very different, right?
Well, let me ask you this: how was growing up in the Bronx?
It was different. I mean, it wasn't bad. I mean, I'll be honest with you, everybody looked out after each other, and it wasn't bad. My dad made sure that, we had a good life. So it wasn't, any issues. It's not like we were getting robbed every day and nothing like that. But, the area that we lived in it definitely had its challenges. But
sure.
As long as you knew people and, everybody knew each other from the neighborhood, it really wasn't a problem.
And you say your dad was a police officer?
Yeah, my dad's a police officer. He's actually a retired police officer.
NYPD?
Say that again?
NYPD?
NYPD, yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So retired police officer, and he wanted to get us out of the Bronx.
Sure.
So like I said, he ended up buying a house. Him and my mother bought a house in Peekskill, New York. It's about 45 minutes north of the Bronx.
Okay, so not that far then.
No, it's not that far. It's
okay.
Westchester County.
Okay. Why there?
My dad's partner lived over there. So.
Other police officer?
Yeah, another police officer.
Okay.
So he, I guess my dad went up there and he seen it and it was really nice. I mean, compared to
the city is different.
City, it's like the country, right?
Yeah.
It's a totally different thing, right? So he liked it a lot, and him and my mom were looking for houses. They eventually found a house over there in Peekskill.
Now, as far as siblings, was it just you, or did you have any younger or older brothers and sisters?
One younger brother.
Okay, so you were the older one.
I'm the oldest. Yep. So my brother's 2 years younger than me.
Okay.
So anyway, we did that, and
everyone moves up there. How were you as a kid? I'm curious. Were you into anything, or did you have any hobbies?
Well, when I was a kid, I liked to play, baseball. That was my biggest sport was baseball. I used to love baseball when I was a kid. So as I was growing up, we used to, watch the Yankees and play baseball. So I played baseball pretty much all through high school. And I wrestled in high school. So,
Oh,
but
you did
baseball,
wrestling?
yeah, but baseball was the sport that I loved the most.
Okay. Well, you have to love the Yankees if you live in the BX.
Yeah, if you're from the Bronx, you're gonna be a Yankee fan. That's just the way it is.
Comes with the territory.
It comes with the territory, man. You got it. They're the Bronx Bombers, man. You got it. It's the way it is.
So then in high school, that's when you decided you were looking into it. You liked the architect thing, right?
Yeah, I loved it. So I had a cousin that had a construction company in New York City. So I used to go work with him on the weekends all the time. So I used to go visit him on the weekends.
And this is during high school.
During high school, yeah.
Okay.
So I used to go with
Okay.
him and work with him on the weekends and construction and do all that stuff. And I ended up loving architecture. So I took architecture all through high school. Like I said, I thought I was going to be an architect, and I ended up going to University of Arizona for architecture, and didn't really. Architecture school was cool. I could draw when I was in high school. It's just when I got to college, everybody could draw better than me. So, architecture just didn't work out for me. Then I came back to New York. I ended up going to Mercy College.
So you transferred from Arizona back to New York?
Yeah,
Okay.
And then, so I wanted to do, I was going to be a lawyer. I thought I was going to be a lawyer then.
Okay.
So, because I had taken law classes in high school too.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
so I figured, all right, you know what? I knew I was going to be a lawyer. So ended up taking classes at Mercy College in New York. And then from there, I decided it was just time to leave. I was ready to go and make a change. So I went into the Air Force, actually.
Okay.
And when I went into the Air Force.
Hold on one moment. Did you finish Mercy there, or you were just like, hey, time out, I'm done?
Yeah, I was done.
Okay. Okay.
Let me roll out.
How many years were you there in college? Everything from Arizona to Mercy? A couple
From
years?
Arizona to Mercy, I was like, I probably had like a year and a half of college.
Okay. Okay. So you still had you still had some time to go then.
I had a long way to go.
Especially if you're going to go into law. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Exactly. So, so then I decided to leave, and then I decided to join the Air Force. I had one of my closest friends in the world. His name is Juan Perez. He's the guy who actually convinced me to go into the Air Force.
Friend from high school, or?
Friend from high school, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
he joined, I assume.
Yeah, so he was in the Air Force before me, and I was kind of like trying to make a decision on where I was going to go, what path I was going to take, and what things I was going to do. And he ended up talking to me one day. I think my mother actually may have asked him to talk to me. I feel like my mother did. I feel like that's what I remember.
Your mom's like, he needs some help.
Yeah. Need a little bit of help and guidance. So Juan, we went to high school together. We graduated high school together. Still is my brother. Him and another friend of mine, Ralph. We're very, those are my brothers, as well as my other brother, David. Right. But so Juan talked to me and talked to me about the Air Force, how good it was, and how the life was, and this, that, and the other. And I decided to join the Air Force. He went with me to the recruiter. We talked to the recruiter and did all that other stuff. And I joined the Air Force.
Okay.
Right.
And from there, I guess training camp and everything.
Well, they gave me, I went to basic training and they gave me physical therapy as a career field. I had no idea what physical therapy was, actually.
They chose it for you. That wasn't your decision.
No, they chose it for me.
Oh, that's interesting.
You take the test to go into the military. You take an ASVAB test.
Okay.
And then whatever you qualify for is, you could be put into any of those jobs. I tried to get a guaranteed job like in electronics, but I'm colorblind. So I couldn't do that. And I went in open general. And I didn't know what I was going to do until after I was in basic training. So then once I was in basic training, I found out I was going to be a physical therapy specialist. And it sounded really good. So I was like, all right, cool, let's do it. And I started my training in the Air Force. So I went and my first station was at Shepherd Air Force Base in Texas. So I got my training there. Then I went to Clark Air Base in the Philippines, was stationed there. Then I came to Andrews. And when I came to Andrews, because I hadn't been taking classes, many classes while I was in the military overseas. When I got to Andrews, a guy who was actually one of the people in charge, his name was Bill White, or his name is Bill White. He's a good friend of mine also. We still stay in touch. And one of the things he told me was, he asked me, you know, if I've taken any classes since I've been there in the Air Force. I told him no. He said, well, everybody here takes classes, so you're going to have to sign up for some classes. So I'll never forget that. It was like my first day meeting him, and he was like, yeah, everybody takes classes. So, and he ended up getting his degree paid for by the military. So then I started taking classes, and I ended up getting my degree as a physical therapist assistant.
Where was this?
I was in the Air Force.
But were the classes in Andrews?
Yeah, no. So you could take class. So that's an associate degree. So
yes,
as a therapist assistant. So a lot of those classes were on Andrews Air Force Base.
Oh, okay.
And then some of them I took at like Prince George's Community College.
Sure.
And like University of Maryland, University College. So I just took classes wherever I had to take classes, right? Okay. And then a lot of the classes I took in the military counted for my college also. So once I got all that stuff together, I ended up getting my degree as a physical therapist assistant. Then stayed in the military for a few years, and then I decided to get out. And it was really rough because I needed to get my I tried to get out early so I can go to school, and I got denied to get out early. Then I tried for these commissioning programs where they pay for your school. And I applied for those for 2 years in a row, and I got denied. And I remember the second time I got denied, I was hurt, man. I was, you know, married, I had kids.
Did they tell you why you get denied?
No, they didn't tell me why, and I was really upset because it was a civilian that denied me. And I remember sitting at the desk, and I remember being like 26, 27 years old because I wanted to go to physical therapy school. And I remember like sitting there crying because I wanted to get into go to physical therapy school, and I kept running into these roadblocks. And I remember one of the captains came to me and it was like, you know what, Carlos, I know this doesn't sound what you want to hear, but when it's meant to be, it'll happen, you know, something like that. So then eventually I just, you know, kept going at it, applied to Howard University, got into Howard University. I was able to get out of the military early because I got denied. I tried to put in to get out early, and I kept getting denied to get out early because it was a critical career field.
Okay.
So if it's a critical career field, they won't typically let you out. So then my chief, Bob Savetic, Chief Master Sergeant Savetic, he's a chief, not an E9. There's a difference. People in the military know what the difference is. Anyway, he knew I was trying to get out of the Air Force to go to school. And he literally told me, if I can't get you out of the Air Force, I'll get you a job in the hospital at night. Cause I worked in the hospital. I did physical therapy. Working in the record section, I'll let you go to school in the daytime. And by the way, he let me take physics during duty hours because physics, they didn't have it at night. You had to take it during duty hours. So he actually let me take that. So, cause he knew I was trying to go to physical therapy school. After I got denied to get out of the military under this other commissioning program, Airman Education Commissioning Program, he called like the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force and the Surgeon General of the Air Force, and he actually convinced them to let me get out of the Air Force.
Wow.
So before I knew it, I had gotten phone calls, and they're like, Sergeant Martinez, what day do you want to get out on? What day do you want to separate on? You know, all this other stuff. So he got me out of the military, and I started at Howard University, like, I don't know, maybe a week or two later. Really quickly, I started school right away.
By that time, Carlos, how long were you in the military? How much service had you done with the Air Force?
6.5 years before I got out. 6.5 years. Okay. Yeah. So I had to do like some more time in the inactive reserves in case they wanted to call me back. But anyway, Chief Savetic, Bob Savetic, helped me get out of the military. I got out, started school, and I'd been going to school for a long time. So graduated physical therapy school in '95.
Carlos, when you were in school at Howard, were you there full-time and also working? Because I know you said you had a family at the time as well, right?
Right. So I wasn't working full-time because I'd saved money while I was in the military. So while I was in the military, I was actually taking full-time credits. I had my full-time job in the military, and I actually had a part-time job. So I used to
Wow.
do furniture on weekends and stuff. So
I love that. I love that.
yeah, so I was working, man. I was doing whatever I had to do to get it done, right?
It was the same thing. I was in college full time here in Maryland, like two jobs. Same thing on the weekends, retail, and then something with financial services.
Yeah,
You got to do what you got to do.
you gotta do what you gotta do, man. Nobody's gonna give you anything, man. So you gotta go out there and you gotta fight. You know, there's
Yeah.
gonna be a lot of barriers, and you can let the barriers run over you, or you can move the barriers out the way. So my personality is one where I try to move the barriers out the way. I just go for it. You know what I mean? I'm a risk taker. I take chances, right?
And it must have been hard for you too, because you said you had at the time a young family as well with a wife and children, right?
Yeah, but there wasn't anything, hard is relative, right? I mean, there's nothing going to stop when you have a goal, and nothing's going to stop you from getting to your goal. That was the way I saw it, and that's the way I still see things. So, it's relative. You know what I mean?
I
So,
agree.
it wasn't easy, but I had a lot of support, and I got through it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
It
good.
worked out. It worked out real good for me.
Yeah, the support is
Um,
important.
yeah, support is really important. I mean, if you don't have support, it's even that much more difficult. When you have support, it's not, you know, it doesn't seem to be as difficult as maybe what it is. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
So did that, worked for some people for a while, worked for different companies.
After Howard.
Yep, after Howard,
So
worked for,
at Howard, you got your bachelor's?
yep, got my
Okay.
bachelor.
So then from then you started working
So I started
within the
working.
field, right? Okay.
And yeah, so I was a physical therapist. So because in physical therapy, well, now you need your doc. You can't graduate physical therapy school without a doctorate degree now. But when I graduated, it was a bachelor's degree program.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then worked for different companies for a while.
All still here within the DC metro area, correct?
Yeah, yeah. I
Okay.
almost moved back to New York and took a job. They offered me a lot of money, but that didn't happen. Right, I
Okay.
stayed here. My wife at the time wasn't trying to move to New York, so we decided to stay here with the family. Plus, it was you're in Maryland, it's better than living in New York, right? So as far as raising for us, for at that time, for raising a family, it was a little bit.
Sure.
Plus, you're so used to Maryland at that point. I hadn't lived in New York for so long, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I worked for different companies, and then eventually became a manager, and then opened up clinics for other people, and then decided to open up my own practice. So I opened up my first clinic in 2003.
Now, what made you decide to open? Because some people just continue working their whole life for someone. What made you decide back then, 2003, or maybe the thought came before that, as far as maybe I can go off on my own and do this, or maybe do it better. I don't know.
Yeah, I've always wanted to have my own. So I always wanted to have my own company. My mother taught me at a really young age. I used to have a paper route when I was a kid. So
Okay.
my mother actually taught me to hire somebody to do the paper route and pay them.
Okay.
So I remember doing that. So I remember I had somebody do the paper route and I paid them.
How old were you at that age? Do you remember roughly?
Maybe 12,
Okay.
10, 11, 12, 13.
Okay.
I don't know, however, maybe 12 or 13. However, you have to be old enough to have your working papers to work.
Okay.
So I remember doing that. And then that only lasted for a while because, once you got, they wanted more money and stuff. So I ended up
Sure.
but that's how that bug went in me. But then I always knew I wanted to open up my own company. Even when I was in the military, I knew I was going to open up my own practice. So in 2003, I just decided, man, I'm just going to go ahead and just do it. I had been doing it for so long with other people. I just decided to do it, and I decided I wanted to do it in Hyattsville because Hyattsville, with regard to medical stuff, was underrepresented, especially in physical therapy. And I felt I needed a really good quality physical therapy practice out there. So I went over there. And then in 2008, I opened up my Laurel office. In 2009, I opened up the Glendale office or Bowie office. And then 2000 and where are we in 20?
We're in 20.
So I think in 17, no, 2018, I did my Silver Spring. No, 2018, we did the contract that we had with the nursing home in Southern Maryland. And then 2000, no, maybe it's 2000. I'm getting confused now.
Sure,
And
that's
then,
fine.
and then Silver Spring, I think I did in 2018 or 2019, something like that.
Yeah.
And then in the meantime, while I'm doing this, a friend of mine that I went to physical therapy school with, Dr. Clark, Andrew Clark, he called me up and he's like, I've been looking at getting my doctorate degree, although we didn't need it. And he had called me up and he's like, look, man, I'm thinking about doing my doctorate degree. And I'm like, I ain't got time for that, man. I don't really have time. I'm not really trying to do that. And he's like, come on, man, we could do it. Let's do it. We'll do it together. It's, we could do all this. It'll be like we were in physical therapy school together.
Yeah.
So I was like, I really didn't, I just wasn't really feeling it, but he convinced me to do it. So it took me about 2 years, both of us, it took us about 2 years, and we graduated in 2017, 18, 19, yeah. We graduated in 2017 with our doctorate in physical therapy from EIM Institute of Health Professions. So we did that together. And then, but during that time, I still been running my practices and trying to get things going. We're still trying to grow.
Sure.
So I'm very happy with what we've done and grown so far.
Now, you started 2003 and you said the second one came in 2008, right?
2008 was our Bowie office, Glendale office.
And then right after that, the following year, you opened the third one.
Which was 2000, yeah, which was our Laurel office. So what happened was in 2000, I actually got the property for Laurel before I did Hyattsville, but the build out took so long in Laurel that I actually opened up, I bought the property in Laurel before I did my Bowie office.
Okay.
But the build out took so long in Laurel that I ended up opening up the Bowie office before I ended up opening up the Laurel office.
Okay.
So Bowie opened up like in 2008, and then Laurel opened up a few months after that in 2009.
Okay. What would you say, Carlos? Because it was like from the first one to the second one's about 5 years, and then after that, within a year or 2 year time period, you opened two rapidly. Was there something that was happening in your business then that sort of hit that growth spurt?
Well, I've always wanted multiple practices.
Okay.
We were busy. And my personality is, I'll be honest with you, is I get bored easily. And when something doesn't seem as much of a challenge, I like to take on more challenges. I'm a little bit of addicted to the hustle type of stuff for everything. So just running one office ended up becoming a little bit boring for me, to be honest with you. So, and like I said, we were busy. It was, it was doing well.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, all right, it's time to open up another clinic. So I went ahead and did it, and then opened up another one and then another one. And we're trying to grow. We're still trying to grow right now.
Yeah. What would you say is the biggest driver or motivation for you?
The biggest driver of motivation. Wow, that's a good one. Well, number one, I'm addicted, like I said, to the hustle.
You need to always be doing something.
Yeah, but I think, part of my motivation is knowing that I'm a kid that grew up, from the South Bronx in Classen Point. My parents worked very hard to get us out of there. We moved upstate to Peekskill, New York. I've seen a lot of things, you know what I'm saying? And, in theory, I'm really supposed to be a statistic, right? I'm a Hispanic male who, in theory, isn't really supposed to maybe amount to a whole lot based on things out there. And I just keep trying to improve myself and improve everything I can, not only, to do well in general, but, I'm representing my people, man. You know what I mean? I represent, my family and my people and everything. And I just want to, create opportunities. That's one of the things that motivates me a lot. I like to create opportunities for people that wouldn't be working in our career field or wouldn't be working in the physical therapy industry. You know, people may, you know, they'll work with our company and may not have worked in billing before, but, you know, we gave them an opportunity, or may not have worked as a physical therapy technician before, and now they have, and now they'll go to physical therapy school and become a physical therapist, or they've never worked, you know, in different positions, right? And we're able to create a lot of opportunities. So I think that's one of my biggest motivations is, you know, I like helping people, and I like to, you know, give opportunities to people. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things.
I know you've had the business now for almost 17 years, and you still have a long way to go. Like you mentioned, you're still under growth and you want to continue to grow. But what would you say thus far, Carlos, would be the biggest accomplishment you can remember in all your career?
What was the biggest accomplishment?
Yeah, when you hit a milestone or you did something, you're like, okay, and you felt good.
About my career?
Yeah, you were proud of it.
I think really when I opened up my first clinic, in all honesty.
The first one?
Yeah, when I get the first clinic open, because, you know, a lot of people were like, why are you going to Hyattsville? Like, why Hyattsville? Like, there's, like, that's, you know.
I understand.
Like,
yeah.
Hyattsville. And I'm like, why? Because Hyattsville is awesome, man. Hyattsville is great, you know, and people, you know, needed, Hyattsville needed a good physical therapy, a good quality physical therapy place. And to be honest with you, you know, I see, you know, I want to help my people, and I consider anybody from any inner city my people, right? You don't have to be Latino, Hispanic, right? If you're from an inner city, you're my people, right? And I want to help my people. And I want to do anything I can to help. So I think opening up Hyattsville was probably my biggest, you know, where I was happy, my biggest accomplishment in business at this point.
What was the first one? So that was a big feat right there. That was the beginning.
That was the beginning. It was tough, man. It was a very, very tough. I had a lot of issues. I had a lot of problems with the build out. It was very, very tough. I remember I had a problem with the construction. I had to call my dad up. I'm like, man, you know, I had to get rid of these people. I had nobody there. And, you know, my dad came from New York that same night and drove to New York and helped me, you know, get the place built out, you know, with our hands, you know, and we got some construction people in, and, you know, it was a lot of work, you know what I mean? So it was a big accomplishment just to get that one going. Yeah.
It's tough sometimes, but you learn.
Yeah, it's tough. You learn, you know, I learn all the time. Every time we open up a new clinic, I learn, right? So, yeah.
You mentioned earlier, Carlos, about your people and your team. And I believe that the team is an important thing, you know, surrounding yourself with the right team, with the right people. How many people do you have currently in overall with all the locations? One, and number two, how do you actually find your team?
Well, as far as employees, we have over 50 employees.
Okay.
And I have a really close-knit team of people that we work very, very closely together, and they're involved. All of us are involved in every aspect of the business and the company. So, although I don't have partners in the sense that I don't have anybody who owns the business with me, my management team, they're like my partners, right? Because we make decisions together. I don't always say we're going to do this and that's the way it is, right? I talk to them. I get their advice. I get, you know, what their feelings are on certain things. I listen to what they say. You know, I trust their judgment, right? I don't like people around me to just tell me things because they think I want to hear it. I like people to tell me things because it's their honest opinion. So if I ask somebody their opinion, I have people around me that will tell me their honest opinion, you know?
Yes.
You know, I got, Janessa, you know, Daniel, Jennifer, you know, Mary. I got my clinic directors. I got a lot of people around me that, you know, we make decisions together. It's typically not a one-sided decision, right?
Sure.
Now, there may be those days where I'm like, okay, I want to do this and this is what we're going to do. But I like to listen to what everybody has to say, and I always bring it up to people. And if they bring something up to me, I listen to them and I literally sit down and seriously consider it. And that actually comes from anybody in my company, anybody in the practice, And anybody in our practice that comes up with an idea, I listen to them. And I might not take every idea, but I listen to people, you know. And one of the things I love is having younger people around, because I feel that younger people, not only, and I'm not only talking about age, but also an experience, they come up with really, really good ideas. I'm a guy from the military. I like things done a certain way. I'm straight. You know, my dad was strict. Apparently, you know, I like certain things, right? But in listening to people, you know, we've been able to do a lot more, right? You know, a prime example, we were using uniforms. I never used to use uniforms. Everybody used to have a shirt, a tie, you know, all this other stuff, shoes, you know, and, you know, I listened to some of the staff and some of the team and everybody, you know, people were like, hey, we should have uniforms. And, you know, we went with it. You know what I mean? We should put up, you know, certain things where our logos in the clinics. Okay, let's do it, you know. And I try to listen to people, you know, when they bring things up, because if you're out there every day doing stuff, you're going to have, you know, better ideas than I might have, right? I got to have people around me that aren't afraid to share their ideas. And you know, at the end of the day, sometimes my head is so big, I can't walk through a door, but I need people that I know that can give me good advice and are smarter than me in certain things and can help me grow and do things better.
That's smart.
Right.
That's good. Yeah.
So for me, that's how it works.
I know with a team at 50, do you have HR, or how do you find them? How do you hire your team?
So right now, so we do have HR in the sense that Janessa, you know, she runs our practice. So she's involved in a lot of that stuff, right? So our clinic directors will hire staff.
For their local location.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're responsible for that. Okay.
Right. So now I may have somebody on the team that's going to go ahead and put ads in the newspaper, right? We just hired, well, we actually hired somebody on the marketing team before the whole COVID situation came about. I didn't even meet him. Jennifer, Jennifer is our business development director, our marketing director. So she hired that person. I literally actually just met Holly on Skype recently, in all honesty.
Okay.
You know, so, right. So they do that, right? We just hired some new front desk people. I haven't met them yet. My clinic director has hired them, right? Daniel will hire an industrial rehab director, right? So everybody's kind of involved in that stuff.
Okay.
We have the nursing home, and I don't work on that. You know, Kelly works on that, right? So I try to get involved. I try to do especially with the physical therapists. I'll interview them and talk to them and things like that too. So I'm more involved with hiring the physical therapists. Although eventually that's going to end up stopping too, where the clinic directors will end up hiring them without me even meeting them.
Okay.
But I just have everybody doing their thing, and
that's good. It's almost an autopilot.
Yeah, like if I didn't have Jennifer, I'm going to tell you right now, I'd be in trouble. We wouldn't be having this meeting today.
I'm sure.
She handles all my entire everything, as well as brings business into the practice. She also makes sure that my schedule is good, where I don't have to, because I have a tendency to screw it up, right? If I didn't have Janessa around, making sure everything is we're in compliance and making sure that everything's are done the right way with HR, and she gets the medical insurance stuff set up and the retirement plan set up and payroll and doing all, I don't do any of that. I don't really, Janessa knows that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Daniel runs our industrial rehab program. He's the one who's dealing with everybody and working with stuff, right? And then, you got Ayana and Robert, Dr. Hippolyte and Dr. Ninen, they run their clinics and they have things going on, right? So then, they have certain things that they need to look for and statistics that they need to look for and different data that they need to look at. So they'll make sure that their teams are doing their stuff. So if I didn't have my team of people, and then obviously I got Mary who helps. She also helps everybody getting everything moving around, right? If I didn't have all those people around, yeah, I'd be in trouble, man. So there's no way that this practice has grown the way it has with me alone. It hasn't, because it's been the management team and then everybody else that comes and works and comes to work every day. You know, our clinicians are excellent. Everybody comes to work. They do their thing. They take it very seriously. You know, they want to help they want to help their patients get better. And we try to give the best customer service that we can to all of our patients. So it works out real well.
It's a big team effort.
Yeah, hopefully I'm not just rambling on. Hopefully I'm answering your question.
No, definitely. Yes. What advice would you give Carlos if someone wanted right now, today, start their physical therapy practice?
Well, I would give the same to anybody if physical therapy practice or any business at all is you got to go out there and do it. You can't talk about it. You just got to do it. If you're going to open up a business, you got to do it. And you can't let the barriers, you know, run by you. You can't let the barriers take control of you, right? I remember the first business plan I did, I didn't even get a call back from a bank, right? So I figured, okay, I got to go ahead and redo something. So I redid my whole business plan, and I talked to a friend of mine who's a banker, and I'm like, hey man, redo my business plan and tell me what I need to do better, or what works and what doesn't work, right? So I didn't let that hold me back. I just kept going, right?
Okay.
So I think the biggest thing I would tell anybody to open up any business, whether it's in the medical field or any business, is you just got to go out there and do it, and don't let the barriers hold you. You just got to go for it.
Besides not giving up and continuing forward, any tips or anything that comes to mind right now as far as big things? I know you mentioned before the build up for the first location and everything you went through. Your dad had to come here from New York. But anything like that comes to mind for them to try to avoid any pitfalls?
Well, I think, when you're starting off, you don't have a whole team of people around you.
Sure. Right? You can't afford that starting off.
You can't afford that, right? So I think one of the things I would tell somebody is try to get people around you that know certain things, because at the end of the day, you need people around you that know things more than you know. You know, you might think you know certain things, and you have to have an element of understanding. Like you need to at least understand the business that you're going into, right?
Sure.
So if you're going into a restaurant business, you at least have to understand the basics of that. If you're going into a medical practice, you have to understand the basics. If you're going to do real estate or certain things like that, you have to understand the basics. So get a good understanding of the basics. Do your homework. Do your Googles, man. Get online. Do your homework. Try to figure out everything you can figure out about that business. When you're looking at looking for spaces, you have to have a good realtor, who knows what the heck they're doing, like yourself,
Thank you.
to help you, find and navigate and negotiate back and forth on some of those contracts, right? Figure out where you're going to get your equipment from at the best prices. You don't always have to buy brand new equipment. You can buy used equipment, right? So figure out where to get some of that stuff, right? But when you're going to start your business off, you got to start it off right. You can't go halfway. You just got to go for it, right?
Okay.
I would tell people to do their homework and to really push themselves. Don't give up. You just can't give up. There's going to be a lot of barriers. There's going to be a lot of people telling you why you can't do it. There's going to be a lot of people tell you why you're not going to succeed. There's always going to be people around in your ear, always. So you just got to remember that that's noise. And that's all that is noise. That's just people trying to tell you why you can't do something. But as long as you know inside you can do it, you got to just push yourself, man, and do it. You can't stop.
Yeah, I agree. I think it all starts up here. If you can control, yeah.
Yeah, it's all in the mind, man. I mean, it ain't gonna be easy. I'm telling you, man.
Nothing good is ever easy, though.
Nah, if it was easy, everybody would do it.
Exactly.
Nobody's gonna give anything to you, right? Nobody's gonna give anything to me. Nobody's gonna give anything to anybody. You got to work for it. You got to work hard for it, right? You got to work smart. You got to work hard and smart. And if you do that, you'll get the benefits. And at the end of the day, I might have my business and my practice, but I work every day like everybody else, right? I get a paycheck like everybody else. It's not like I go and take vacations every week. I'm working every day, and I'm making decisions every day. And it's not like you own a business and the money is going to come on trees. Because if you're trying to do it for money, you're not gonna do a good job. You got to do it because you love it, right? You got to do it because you want to make a difference, right? If you do a good job, everything else is going to come. So that's not only open up a business, that's even being, an employee, right? You do a good job, everything else is going to come. So you just got to do a good job, man, and push it.
Good. So now we're entering what we call the fast round. So basically, I say a statement and you say the first thing that comes to your mind. Ready?
Sure.
What will you say right now today is your biggest challenge at CAM?
Getting patients to come into the clinic.
Because of the COVID situation.
Because of the COVID situation. That's our biggest challenge is patients coming into the clinic. Yeah. And insurance companies. So it's two things. Sorry.
I never hear insurance. I always hear it getting worse for the healthcare and the healthcare industry with insurance company. It never goes the other way, that it's getting better.
Insurance
as far
companies,
as dealing with them.
Insurance companies want to take your premium and they don't want to pay. I don't care, man. Whatever anybody can say, whatever they want. Providers are having a hard time. Surgeons don't want to do surgery anymore. I'm not saying everybody. So, if somebody looks at this, I'm not saying everybody.
Sure.
Right. But, I have friends that don't want to do certain surgeries. I have friends that don't want to take certain insurances. There's a lot of people, leaving the healthcare industry. Insurance companies are very, very hard to deal with. Insurance companies will tell you one thing, and then when it's time to get paid by them, it'll be a totally different story. They're very, very difficult to deal with. So, it's a problem.
What do you wish, Carlos, what do you wish you would have known now that you would have known back then when you had started your business?
That's a hard one. What do I wish I would have known now? Or what I would have known then that I know now? I don't really know, man.
Okay. And that's fine.
I don't really know. It's hard because I've learned so much. I don't know.
That's normal because a lot of people says, I don't, the whole journey, it's part of it. You learn from it.
Yeah, the whole journey is part of it, man. The whole journey is, it's a journey, right? You grow, right? You start opening up businesses with other people's money, right? And when you make a mistake, it's not so bad because it's not your money, right? And then you open up a business with your own money, and now that hurts more, right?
Yeah.
And one business, and you may have it, right? But then you open up another one, and you still learn. And then you open up another one, and you still learn. And you open up another one, you still learn. So you're always learning. You're always going to be learning, no matter what. If you feel like you've learned everything and you feel like you can't learn, you're not going to grow, and you're just going to fade away. We're all growing.
I agree. You always have to be learning and growing.
Always have to learning and growing, man. It's really important. I'm really trying to think hard of what I wish I would have known then, what I know now, what I know now, what I wish I would have known then. I don't really know how to answer that.
And that's fine. Now, when I say success, when I say the word success, who is the first person you think of?
My dad.
Your dad.
Yeah. My dad's a retired police officer. My parents are New Yorkers.
Still in New York?
Still in New York.
Okay.
And he retired from his job. Hasn't worked a day since. My mom, retired from her job. She hasn't worked. They're living the American dream, man. They have their house. And these are two people from New York. My dad is originally more from Manhattan. They were both born in Puerto Rico, but my dad was more from Manhattan and my mom from the South Bronx. And then we grew up in the South Bronx. My dad, I guess, moved to the Bronx, right? So,
okay.
So I'd have to say my dad. I don't equate success with money. So money, really, to be honest with you, for me, doesn't motivate me at all. A lot of people equate success to money. A lot of people equate success to how much money you have in the bank, or the car you drive, and all of that. And I don't see it like that at all. Money for me is definitely not a motivator. For me, I want to be able to help people. And I think that's the biggest thing for me, is to be able to help people, And like I said, when I think of success or who I think of my dad, because he could have been a statistic too, and he became a police officer, and he's just living the life.
Yeah, that's nice. Who would you say is your biggest mentor, and what did you learn from that relationship? If it wasn't your dad, I don't know if you have someone else as far as a mentorship throughout your whole career, from when you were young up to now.
I'm going to tell you, I've had mentors throughout my whole career.
Different ones.
Yeah. I mean, remember, my mother was my first mentor. And when I say that, I had a paper route. I'm however old I am, maybe 12 years old. And my mother tells me, you should hire somebody to do the paper route and you pay them. Right. So I'd have to say my mother was my first mentor in that aspect. My dad was my my parents were my mentors in life.
Sure.
But I've had different mentors over the years. My friend Bill Wyke, who, got me to continue going to school. As soon as I got to Andrews, he told me, everybody here goes to school, Bob Savetic, Chief Savetic, he helped people, he helped me. If he didn't help me get out of the military, I wouldn't be here. If he didn't help me, allow me to take physics during work hours and make me work on weekends, to get that class, it wouldn't be here, right? So, he was a person that helped me, he taught me about helping people too, Another mentor of mine, Dave Gray, he used to own, people don't probably know him, but a lot of people are not gonna know him, but he owned several clinics, and I worked for him while I was in the military part-time as a physical therapist assistant. And I remember seeing him with his clinics and his partner. I remember wanting multiple clinics, right?
Okay.
Some friends of mine, Ted and Chris, they're partners. And, they told me years and years ago, that if you do a good job, the money's going to come. You do a good job, the money's going to come.
It happened.
Yeah. And so they told me that. I remember when I was in the military, I had a guy tell me one time, don't ever forget, you never get a second chance to make a good first impression, right? So I think over my whole career, I've had a lot of mentors, depending on what's going on. And, I don't want to miss anybody, but
no, I understand.
I've had a lot of people who've helped me over the years and helped me understand things,
For the people that may not know, what does CAM stand for? CAM.
Well, a lot of people ask me that question. I've had a lot of different names. A lot of people come up with things. I typically don't tell people what it stands for.
Oh, it's top secret?
It stands for Carlos Arturo Martinez is my name, my initials.
We share the same middle name.
Is it Arturo?
Arturo. Yeah.
Arturo, I love that. It's a great name, man. So that's the initials of my name. And it was when I was actually trying to think of a name for my practice. I was thinking of, sports this or whatever this and therapy that. And I was going through all these names. And I'm like, why don't we just name it after my initials, CAM?
Yeah.
That's how I did it. So they're the initials to my name. So a lot of times when I see patients in the office, I don't even tell them it's my practice. They don't even know it's my
They don't
practice.
even know you're the owner. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't even know.
Yeah.
I just, I normally don't tell people.
Sure.
Sometimes they find out or whatever. But yeah, it's the initials of my name.
Okay. What do the next 5 years look for you and CAM, the company? What's the vision?
Well, the vision is more growth. We want to open up more clinics. Want to create more opportunities for people. So that's really where it is. In the next 5 years, we'll have multiple locations, we got multiple now, but we'll have many more. That's the plan.
Yes.
And you know, the growth. That's really where we are with that, and creating opportunities for other people. At the end of the day, that's one of the things that I'm very proud of, is that I can create opportunities for other people. So that's what we're doing.
I love how giving back is a big part of who you are.
Yeah, I think it's very, very important that, you know, giving back has to be there. You know, Howard University gave me an opportunity. They let me into their physical therapy program, right? And so I graduated. So I try to give back as much as I can. You know, I'll do whatever I can for the university and for anybody else, whatever I can do to help. You know, a lot of the people who know me know that I try to help people. For me, that's one of the things. I like to create opportunities and try to help. Sometimes it can be to a fault, but I try.
Yeah, they can see it though. Now, last question. What do you like to do for fun in your free time when you're not busy working?
Well, I'm a scuba diver, so I like scuba diving. I like scuba diving a lot. And obviously, I like spending time with my grandkids. I have 3 grandkids, you know, so I like spending time with my kids.
Are they all local?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. But the thing I like to do is scuba dive. So whenever I get time to do that, you know, I do that. I'll try and scuba dive.
What's your favorite spot? Somewhere in the Caribbean or where?
Grand Cayman, the Cayman Islands. Grand Cayman is my favorite diving place.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my favorite spot.
Do you try to go there every year or no?
Grand Cayman, yeah. Although we didn't go last year, we went the year before. I have a dive buddy. His name is Scott, so we go all the time.
Okay.
Another thing I like doing in my free time is eating food. I eat food with Jennifer a lot. She likes to eat food too. So that's one of the good things is eat. I like to eat.
That's good. We need to eat.
Yeah.
Carlos, thank you so much. Where can the audience find you? So if there's website or where can they find you?
So so you can do camphysicaltherapy.com, which is the website. We have an Instagram and Facebook, and it's like I'm pretty sure it's Cam Physical Therapy at all of those. It's really like Cam PT or Cam Physical Therapy. I don't really know the social media stuff. That's Jennifer's deal.
Yeah.
I should have known that before I came on, but we have like Twitter and Facebook and I think Instagram and stuff like that. So,
it's all on the website. All the links are there for social media.
If you go to the website, camphysicaltherapy.com, it's all there. We have locations in Hyattsville, Laurel, Bowie, Glendale, Silver Spring, Wheaton area, and Charlotte Hall, Maryland.
Yeah. And there's more to come. Thank you.
Many more to come. To come.
Thank you again, Carlos. Really appreciate it.